This is blog entry number 3. So this time I actually waited about a week before I published another one or put another one. I know the other ones were pretty close together. We're also going to try to keep this a little bit shorter, around the 3 to 5 minute mark. The other two were quite long, so we're going to try to keep it as succinct as possible. Today I'd like to talk about the concept of attachment. And attachment is a very interesting thing. It is extremely interesting in the spiritual life because the spiritual life is just overflowing with attachment. Okay? Now it's like, well, really, how is that the case? How are we overflowing with attachment? We're overflowing with attachment from the standpoint that the teachings that most people have, or that I've seen so many people that they echo, don't be attached. Don't be attached. You should walk through life unattached. Okay? You shouldn't be attached to any particular thing in your life. You should be able to walk the middle path, and be calm and serene. And there's something to that last part. But as far as attachment goes, I think that we as spiritual practitioners should re-examine the whole idea of and the whole concept of attachment. Trying to, there are definitely things that we can take out of our lives that aren't serving us. Very true, very, very true, and I'd be the first to definitely support that. But there are other attachments too that they serve functions in our lives, that they support us, they back us up, they help us with our spiritual evolution. And it's knowing, the idea is not so much non-attachment as it's right attachment. Okay? And let me explain. Right attachment would be wanting to get into cosmic consciousness, doing the disciplines to breathing, doing the asanas, doing the ideas with pratyahara, the whole ideas of getting past the senses, getting past things that throw us off, that distract us from the whole idea of getting to cosmic consciousness. Well, that's an attachment. That's an attachment to a goal. If we didn't have an attachment to a goal, we wouldn't get any place, especially in the spiritual life. If we're told that we should love each other, that one of the biggest spiritual attributes, if not the biggest, is love. Love of self, love of another, love of family, love of humanity, love of animals. Well, that's an attachment too. It's an attachment to a way of wanting to be. So that's right attachment. That'll take you further on the spiritual journey, on the quest. And where negative attachments come in is being attached to things that don't support your growth, that don't support your movement, and don't enhance your life. Addictions are attachments that are, negative addictions are attachments that they don't serve us. They pull us off the path. They don't color. They color us with the darkness of life. And we can't get past those things. They actually stand in our way of our spiritual growth. Positive attachments, people that we meet that can help us in our growth, that help build a solid base to allow us to move forward. Being attached to touching the divine, touching God. That's a drive. Inside of us, innately, in humanity, we have this desire to find that thing, to unite, to be part of something, to be connected, connected to source. You don't have to call it God, but be connected to source. And we have that desire. That's an attachment. If we didn't have those things, we might as well just sit on a log and we'll go no place in our lives, and we'll, I think the modern vernacular for that is a couch potato. So positive attachments are absolutely wonderful in life if they carry us forward. And then the idea of, thinking we have to rid ourselves of things is also attachment. It's also attachment. Well, I can't do that because I enjoy it too much, so I'm just not going to do that. Well, that's a form of attachment as well. things that we pull out. So we have to look at, well, are we doing these things for a positive spiritual benefit, or are we doing these things because we think it's what we're supposed to do, and there comes the concept of a certain type of thinking. If you're attached to it negatively or positively, that's an attachment. So being non-attached and being in human form is a pretty impossible thing. I mean, it just doesn't. It's very impossible to do. It's knowing right attachment versus attachments that don't serve you. So anyway, that's my view. It's running a little bit over. We're almost at 6 minutes, so I'm going to cut it short now. And love a comment, leave a comment, what you think of the blog, and we'll talk next week. Thanks. Bye.